of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc. I'm known as the Urban Translator. We got a very important show, and we're going to get through this. There's so much that's happening. And what you're seeing on the show today has been put together by none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. Okay? And she's also the producer and the director of the Bradley Report. None other than my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. We're going to get into the show. We're dealing with a very dear friend, my spiritual mentor, and that is Prince Asiel Ben Israel. He was the one that gave me this man right here. Bring it down a little bit. Okay. This man right here, Prince Asiel. He was instrumental. My wife, Terry Marsh Bradley, and I was married for the second time in Dimona, Israel, the Holy Land. Prince gave me the hand of his spiritual daughter in holy matrimony. He was my spiritual leader, brother, advisor, and mentor who aided and assisted me with the national, international, and local spiritual, political, and community comprehension of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in my pursuit for public safety, criminal justice and prison and police reform with community inclusiveness. He was a major spiritual and business leader who worked with other national and local business, political, spiritual, and community leadership, as well as brothers and sisters behind the walls, united in peace to turn the tide against senseless violence, shootings, killings, especially of African Americans by other African Americans, which created the National Gang Peace Summits and was instrumental in the greatest assembly of black men known as the Million Man March. He was also a leader in the Free Larry Hoover campaign. My wife, our children, and I send our condolences to the friends and family of Prince Asiel Ben Israel. To God be the glory for allowing me to be known as his top soldier. We will always honor and respect and love this brother. Sister or Brother Omari, could you hit that video for me? I'm sorry, I thought Sister Sylvia was still there.
Today is Prince Asiel Ben Israel. Would you come up, Nasi? Struck a truce in the gang-related killings. And Nasik Asiel Ben Israel and Brother Gator and these brothers, I know that they are Hebrew Israelites. Come on up, brothers, please. Have been working with Nasik Asiel Ben Israel and brother and others. Brother Fontaine from the Black Disciples. Where's brother? He's on his way. These brothers have been working to bring about a truce. And I think they deserve our gratitude. Nasik Asiel Ben Israel, Brother Gator, Brother Fontaine. See, what the enemy doesn't understand is that God is raising an army in the streets. And these young men are generals. They're warriors and teachers. And they're tired of killing each other. from the nation of Israel with the nation of Islam. These are Hebrews and Muslims that love each other. I don't know about the Jews over there now and the Muslims, they don't get along. But these, we are one. And so the six-pointed star of David, which is a great symbol, and isosceles, two equilateral triangles, one up, one down, 6 sides, 6 points, 6 stars, 6 angles, and every angle 60 degrees. Beautiful symbol. The 5-pointed star of the Nation of Islam, beautiful symbol, and the crescent. But these are symbols. All they do is represent a great truth. You are not a symbol, a real thing. So we shouldn't let the symbols divide what the symbols were designed to guide the real people of God into divine unity. So
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more.
That was something that I wanted to share with my viewing audience to let you know that Prince Osceola was an icon within our community. The next piece we're going to speak about is another icon and a living legend, and that's Brother Jesse White. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great man. Come down some, Brother Omari. My bad. Go up some. Go up. Go up. Right there. You see what a little icon where you hit? There you go.
Brendan Moore, Springfield Democratic nominee for Illinois Secretary of State Alexei Giannoli, has told the hundreds of party faithful gathered in the capital city earlier this week that he's not a big fan of asking for standing ovations. But Giannoli has felt it appropriate that the man he was introducing at the Illinois Democratic County Chairs Association's annual brunch receive one. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.
Let's give a loud round of applause for Secretary Jesse White. Giannoli has asked the assembled group, who happily obliged. White, 88, when he reached the podium, thanked them for the final ovation. Indeed, it's been a capstone year for White, who leaves office in January following a lifetime of public service, including the past 24 years as Illinois Secretary of State. He's even won over some Republican fans, including State Representative Dan Brady, of Bloomington, who is his party's nominee to succeed White. The Secretary of State has given me an ability to work with him across the aisle, Brady said. We've done that on a variety of fronts: distracted driving of teens, organ/tissue donation, whole body donation. We've worked very well together. Jesse White is an individual I greatly respect. In his last Illinois State Fair as an elected official, White served as Grand Marshal of the Twilight Parade, the annual event that kicks off the fair's 11-day run. Earlier that day, he and Governor J.B. Pritzker cut the ribbon at the fair's main gate. The following week, White was the recipient of many well wishes and several standing ovations at the Democrats' annual day at the fair. He signifies to me everything that's right in public service, said Illinois Comptroller Susanna Mendoza. Not in being a politician, but in truly being a public servant. This man, if you dive into his actual biography, has lived like 7 or 8 lifetimes, successful ones. Lifetimes. White was born in downstate Alton, but his family moved to Chicago when he was young. He attended what is now Lincoln Park High School, where he was an all-city basketball and baseball player. He played both sports at Alabama State University in Montgomery, a setting in which he would cross paths with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was the pastor of the church he attended. After every basketball game where I was the top scorer at 5'8.5", he would give me $20. White said in an interview with Lee Enterprises. That was legal then, but it's not legal now. Following King's lead, White participated in the Montgomery bus boycott. White said it was an experience and influence that still shapes him today. Once he graduated, White served as a paratrooper in the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division for 2 years, a role that saw him jump out of planes. He then played minor league baseball in the Chicago Cubs organization, batting .291 with 6 home runs and 229 stolen bases over 7 seasons. After retiring from baseball, White began a 33-year career as a teacher and administrator in Chicago public schools. Amid all this, White founded the Jesse White Tumbling Team in 1959. The team serves as a positive alternative for children living in public housing in the Chicago area. More than 18,000 children have participated in the program since its inception. Leading vote-getter, for everything else he did in his life, White will ride off into the sunset as one of the most successful politicians in Illinois history. White said it was longtime Cook County Board President George Dunn who first suggested he consider running for office. He decided to give it a go after concluding that it was another opportunity to help people. He ran for and was elected to the Illinois House, where he served from 1975 to 1993. He was later elected Cook County Recorder of Deeds in 1992, and, finally, began serving as Secretary of State in 1999. But when he first ran for Secretary of State, he said there were some doubters. I was told by the Democratic Party when I asked to be considered for the position of Secretary of State to not waste my time, tell my friends and neighbors not to waste their time and money because Tim McCarthy was going to be the next Secretary of State for the state of Illinois, White said. I said watch me. And so I took it upon myself to travel all over the state of Illinois after getting my organization in place, and I averaged 14 to 16 events every day. I'm a former military person, so I don't take defeat lightly, he continued. I'm a former professional baseball player too, and I played basketball and baseball in high school and college and received all honors. And so I'm not the kind of person who will take my ball and bat and go home. White would win that primary against McCarthy, the ex-Secret Service agent best known for defending President Ronald Reagan during the assassination attempt against Reagan in 1981. White later won the general election and would be re-elected an unprecedented 5 times, never receiving less than 63% in any of his re-election campaigns. He was so popular that he carried every county in the state in 2002. And even in increasingly polarized times, White has continued to win downstate counties that elude most Democrats. What was his secret? Well, I'm a personal guy, White said. My telephone number's in the telephone book. My cell phone number, I pass out to people. They call me seeking the various services with the Secretary of State's office. I get the whole 9 yards. And I'm a follow-through fellow, he continued. If someone says that they need help, I'm going to see it from its beginning to its conclusion. While in office, White oversaw the implementation of the Graduated Driver's License Program, which among other requirements increased the amount of practice time needed to obtain a license and restricted nighttime driving for teenagers. He credited it with a significant drop teen driving deaths. White said he was also proud of the expansion of the Illinois organ/tissue donor registry, which has more than 7 million participants. A 2018 law backed by White's office allows 16 and 17-year-olds to give consent to donate their organs and tissue at the time of death. He said he was also proud to help clean up an office under a cloud of controversy under predecessor George Ryan, who ultimately went to jail on federal corruption charges. And, of course, he is proud of lower wait times. No longer do people have to bring the duffel bag, sleeping bag, or their lunch pail, White said of a trip to the DMV. Pritzker said that White's legacy is incomparable. The incomparable legacy of Jesse White is one built not only on his tenure as Secretary of State, but also as one of our greatest statesmen, a kind and decent man, a paratrooper, a Chicago Cub, a teacher, a mentor, and a public servant. Jesse dedicated his life to serving his community and our state, and his leadership in government will be deeply missed, Pritzker said. Mendoza, elected comptroller in 2016, said White pulled her aside a few years ago and gave her some valuable advice. He said, "Kid, let me give you some advice. You know how you become the #1 vote getter in Illinois? You show up. You go to the places where your staff even tells you don't bother because there's only a few people that might show up. But you show up. And those 2 or 3 people that show up are going to go tell 20 people that you were there because you care about them." I try to live up to that, Mendoza said. Mendoza was the second highest vote getter on the ticket in 2018 behind White. She pointed out that they were the only 2 statewide Democrats to carry LaSalle County, which she credited to the time she spent there based on White's advice. Riding into the sunset, White will not be on the ballot this November. However, that does not mean he's leaving the political scene. White said he plans to crisscross the state to help elect and support Democrats. And, of course, he still plans to be involved with the Tumblers. I want you to know that as I ride off into the sunset, I will continue to do what I've been doing for 63 years, and that is I've been the coach and founder of the Jesse White tumbling team, White told the brunch crowd earlier this week. Senator Dick Durbin on Wednesday said that White has always been a true friend. You can count on him to be loyal to you and to stick with you through good times and bad, Durbin said. He's just a wonderful individual. And the work that he's done with the tumblers has changed thousands of lives. Just the kind of person he is. He deserves to be the biggest vote getter in the state of Illinois. Throughout his life, a common line has been service. White said this was a key to his success. I have a statement I use a lot, that is do something good for someone every day, White said. That has been my hallmark, that has been my model, and I live by it every day.
Next article.
You know,
Brendan Moore, Springfield.
I want to move on because I want you to get the meat out of this show because it's so interesting. It's very important that we in Illinois don't let those Trumptonians convince you that there is no unity in Illinois Democratic Party that is purposely focused on making sure that Illinois stay blue. So you got to re-elect J.B. Pritzker for governor, elect Alexis Janulius for the Secretary of State, and please elect the straight Democratic ticket November 8th, 2022, especially elect Jonathan Jackson, the congressman, the next congressman for the 1st Congressional District. Let's get on with the next one, right? Yes, that's right here. Come up, son. Come up, son, Brother Mari. Right there. Hit that little blue thing right there. Thank you.
You owe every blessing to your heart, so give it to the expert, high-tech care it deserves at OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular. It's our mission. Learn more at org/bead.
Governor J.B. Pritzker calls on the coalition of the sane to defeat the lunatic fringe as Democrats rally at the Illinois State Fair. Springfield, Illinois Democrats look to both the past and the future as rallying points on their day at the Illinois State Fair Wednesday, castigating former Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's one-term stewardship of the state and warning that the party's candidate for governor in November, Darren Bailey, would be even worse. In highly charged, partisan language, Democratic leaders accused Republicans of sowing division by promulgating views many consider extreme. In America, in the face of what the Supreme Court and the radical right wing are trying to do to the fundamental rights of every American, we, the coalition of the sane, owe something better to our children and our grandchildren. We need to win and we need to keep our promises to the people who elected us, Governor J.B. Pritzker said at the annual Democratic County Chair Association brunch. Pritzker defeated Rauner in 2018 and is facing a re-election challenge from Bailey, a downstate farmer and state senator endorsed by former President Donald Trump. He is now solidly in charge of a state party that is trying to move past internal divisions that were revealed in the election last month of his candidate, State Representative Elizabeth Hernandez of Cicero, to be the new state party chair. Pritzker said he believed in working with people with different viewpoints to build a better, less rancorous political climate. We owe that to our children and our grandchildren. But on a day traditionally reserved for unbridled partisanship, he and other leading Democrats speaking at the brunch exuberantly assailed Republicans, who have their state fair rally Thursday. The lunatic fringe has taken over their party and they'll say anything, do anything, destroy anything to get elected, Pritzker said. You see, the Donald Trumps and the Darren Baileys of this world want us to feel alone in the struggles that we're all facing together. They want to distract us into believing that marriage equality, Black history, Disney World, and library books are more of a threat to our children than AR-15s. They're attempting to divide America with hateful words and a radical agenda. Targets for Democrats included Rauner's tumultuous term as governor, marked by a historic 2-year budget stalemate, Bailey's controversial statements, including his contention that the Holocaust pales in comparison to lives lost through abortion, and Trump's continued hold over the GOP. Democrats head into the November 8 general election holding all statewide offices, supermajorities in the legislature, both U.S. Senate seats, a majority of congressional seats and control of the Illinois Supreme Court. Comptroller Susana Mendoza, who defeated Rauner's appointed Comptroller Leslie Munger in a 2016 special election, cast the former GOP governor as the worst governor ever and a virus worse than COVID-19 in his effect on state finances. She said while he was in office, metaphorically speaking, she would kick him in the groin with much joy and pleasure. Mendoza is being challenged in November by Republican Shannon Teresi, the McHenry County auditor. Bailey's opposition to abortion except in cases where the life of the mother is in jeopardy, and his comments that citizens should move on and celebrate while the July 4th Highland Park mass shooter was still at large, were also frequent points of attack. Lieutenant Gov. Juliana Stratton called Bailey a Trump-endorsed mega extremist who would do everything in his power to try to turn back the clock on our progress. The attacks on Republicans overshadowed lingering internal strife among Democrats over the choice of Hernandez as chair of the state party. Hernandez ousted U.S. Representative Robin Kelly of Madison, who held the post since March of last year following the resignation of scandal-plagued former House Speaker Michael Madigan. Kelly loyalists complained that consolidating the Democratic Party organization under Pritzker's candidate returned the party apparatus to the one-man autonomy that existed under Madigan's lengthy tenure. Pritzker forces said the party was hindered by Kelly's role as a federal officeholder, which sharply restricted her fundraising ability. Hernandez on Wednesday sought to portray a message of unity and outreach. We Democrats must make sure that our party is truly representative of our great state and our diverse constituencies. We Democrats must connect with voters too often left out and left unspoken to, she said. Together, we can do this by raising the resources necessary to launch Spanish-language ads and new digital ad strategies targeting Black and Brown communities. Pritzker, a billionaire businessman and an heir to the Hyatt Hotel's fortune, sought to move past the party squabble. Foregoing the tradition of speeches on the director's lawn of the state fairgrounds, the governor organized a unity concert featuring country artist Chris Young, who performed in a specially constructed temporary concert pavilion on the director's lawn. Sign up for the spin to get the top stories in politics delivered to your inbox weekday afternoons. Amid all the partisan rhetoric, one constant theme was Trump's continued influence over Republican politics in a state that he twice lost by 17 percentage points. Former State Treasurer Alexei Giannoulias, seeking to replace retiring Secretary of State Jesse White, called those backing Trump's leadership and their view of the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol crazy as hell. The Republican Party that Lincoln found is gone and it's replaced by candidates up and down the ballot who want to tear this country apart and undermine everything that is fundamental to democracy that President Lincoln lived and died to defend, Giannoulias, who is facing Republican Representative Dan Brady in the general election, said at the morning brunch. My fear is if these individuals get elected, we're going to see January 6th on a weekly basis. U.S. Senator Dick Durbin, the chamber's number 2 ranking Democrat, said Trump's baseless claims that his 2020 re-election was stolen due to massive vote fraud must come to an end. It's time to let everybody know the big lie is a lie. It's time to let everybody know that Stop the Steal needs to stop, Durbin said at the brunch. It's time for us to realize that our party has a message that is positive, looks to the future, brings hope to people. It is time for us to realize that when it comes to our future, we need to make sure we don't have a party of anger, fear, hate and violence, he said. Our party is a party of hope, determination, fairness and respect for the law and Constitution. Rap30@aol.com. Journer@chicagotribune.com. Copyright 2022, Chicago Tribune.
I'm about to close my show out. I want to hit this last thing up there. No, not that. Not that. The YouTube piece, right? Yeah, hit that YouTube. No, not that, my bad. Let me see. No, up there where it says the man charged in the Capitol, right there. Yes, right there.
The FBI has charged 28 people from Illinois for crimes at the Capitol on January 6. Some of those ties are with political campaigns, and that's raising new questions for the politicians they support. Political editor Mark Maxwell has new details about a vocal Darren Bailey supporter who is headed for trial for storming the Capitol. Mark?
Darren Bailey's campaign spokesman told reporters in December when they learned that news they were shocked one of their most active supporters had been arrested for his role in storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. At the time, they pointed out Lawrence Liggess was not on their campaign payroll. But new video we obtained shows Liggess remained involved in promoting Bailey alongside paid campaign staff long after his arrest.
Jackson Park. Last September, Lawrence Liggess held the camera while Darren Bailey rallied his supporters on Facebook.
Cindy and I are getting a tour of some amazing locations with our good friend Lawrence Liggess.
Then, in October, Liggess hosted a fundraiser for Bailey. In December, the FBI charged Liggess with 3 criminal counts for storming the Capitol on January 6th. In the immediate aftermath, Bailey's campaign said Liggess doesn't work for them, but this man does.
We're representing Darren Bailey, the candidate for governor.
5 months later, Bailey staffer Brett Corrigan campaigned alongside Liggess at an early voting event in Aurora.
I believe in Darren Bailey so strongly that I'm out here trying to wake up the people that don't get it.
While Liggess awaits his trial, he hit the trail for Bailey.
You know, early voting started Thursday. Yep. They could go start voting this week.
Liggess is not the only avid Darren Bailey supporter seen at the Capitol on January 6. 5 on Your Side has also confirmed the identities of an Illinois couple seen in a video outside the Capitol that day. She is actively campaigning for Bailey. Because they're private citizens and have not been charged with a crime, we're not showing their faces. But listen to what they said as the crowd learned Mike Pence certified the election results.
Do your job or swing!
My husband's a little upset. So we're going to go down to the Capitol building and see what's going on there.
New reaction from the Bailey campaign tonight. They say, quote, Darren does not condone that kind of language. And in perhaps Bailey's campaign's most pointed comments on January 6th yet, they say, quote, Mike Pence followed the constitutional process on January 6th. Joe Biden is the duly elected president, and added this zinger at the end. He and J.B. Pritzker are failing Illinoisans.
Mark Maxwell reporting. Mark, thanks.
It's so wild how... Hit this right here. I want you to show this, and I'm through. I'm out of here. Hit this right here. Right there. Hit that icon right there. We never thought that Rauner would beat Quinn.
We never thought that Rauner would beat Quinn, but he did. Because of these guys right here. We never thought that Rauner would beat Quinn, but he did. Because of these guys right here. Chicago, Illinois, Democratic political consultant, founder of United in Peace Incorporated, and host of the Bradley Report, Wallace Gator Bradley denounces the efforts of several black Republicans in Cook County to get black voters to vote for the current slate of Republican candidates. In Bradley's latest episode of the Bradley Report, Bradley points out that Democratic Party unity is very important at this crucial time. Wallace Gator Bradley mentions Bob Israel, Mark Carter, and local black Republican leader Paul McKinley as being the men behind the election of Governor Rauner. There has been friction in the Democratic Party as of late from many different issues. However, the latest and largest issue stems around the election of the new Democratic Party chair of Illinois. Congresswoman Robin Kelly, the outgoing party chair, was in a nasty fight with Governor Pritzker to become the first black person and female of the DPI. After successfully beating Pritzker's choice for DPI chair the first time, Kelly was not successful in the 2022 election for DPI chair against Pritzker's pick. This has caused serious contention in the black community. Several local black elected officials have sounded the charges of racism in the party and have made noise about Pritzker's decision to help oust Kelly. Paul McKinley, who previously won the 2013 special primary election for the U.S. House seat vacated by Jesse Jackson Jr., ran against Robin Kelly for U.S. Congress in District 2. Paul McKinley, a local black Republican leader in Cook County, has been vigorously campaigning for his Republican statewide candidates. Just recently, Paul McKinley led Senator Darren Bailey, who's challenging J.B. Pritzker for governor, through the Bronzeville neighborhood at the annual Bud Billiken Parade. We've been taking Bailey, Kathy Salvi, and our other statewide candidates all over Chicago and Cook County. Especially in the black neighborhoods. Black people are fed up with Pritzker and the incumbents for what transpired during the pandemic, and they want change now, said Paul McKinley. Wallace Gator Bradley, on the other hand, believes that Paul McKinley and his crew are Trumptonians, and that the Democratic Party should not allow these Trumptonians to convince black Cook County residents to vote Republican. They're trying to convince the people that Bailey will be better than J.B. Pritzker, said Wallace Gator Bradley. We never thought that Rauner would beat Quinn, but he did. Because of these guys right here.
I want to say this. I want to say, don't be fooled. Vote. Straight Democratic ticket. November 8th, 2022. Don't choke. Vote. And to God be the glory. That's my story.